Ba-bam, ba-bam, bam, 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 ba-bam. Rabbi Isai, welcome to Chavrusa Daf. Today is Monday, July 20th, 2026. Vav Menachem Av Tov Shin Pei Vav, just hours away from the third Beis Hamikdash, going to come down in flames from the Shemayim. According to some, it will be built in regular fashion, I imagine. Rabbi Isai, let this Tisha B'Av be a yontif. Yam bam 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 bam. Da 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 da. If the West Hashem b'simcha, so we should be sad. Is that what we're supposed to be on Tisha B'Av? Sad? Mourning. What does mourning mean? Does that mean miserable, crying, or is there a way to do it where there's joy and mourning? Is there, or is it depression? Is that the chiv? To be depressed? What?
Someone close to you just passed away, you'd be pretty upset.
Chas tzei lo yaleinu chas v'shalom.
Right, I'm saying chas v'shalom, right? So,
but I never saw the base. I'm never so foreign to us.
So if a person's parent, they never saw them,
Ooh.
would be sad about
The Beis Hamikdash. What's pshat the Beis Hamikdash? It's a building. We have to remember that it was HaKadosh Baruch Hu's way of being close with us in this belt. Of course, right? We don't cry about a building. It's what the building represents.
It's not just a building, it's they were able to perform the avodah properly. We don't even know what korbanos are. We're just so used to the Shemona Esrei instead. Korbanos. Avodah. Service that was done to get closer to Hashem.
Service.
All of the people that are, the way that it's explained in terms of the hashkafas of the Churban Beis Hamikdash, I mean, there's hundreds and hundreds of Svarim HaKadosh and they talk about it, but any catastrophe, any form of pain in this world comes because of why?
Averis!
It's because we don't have the Beis Hamikdash.
Oh, sorry.
Meaning, all Averis also, right? Meaning, anything that happens over here, it's all a ripple effect.
The ripple effect of the butterfly.
Where do you send the person who isn't religious?
To Ar Sameach.
Yeah. Beis Hamikdash was the heart.
That's where you send people who are irreligious?
All the people, the reason why only probably 1 out of 5 Jews in the world is actually identifies as a popular word nowadays as Orthodox.
Mm-hmm.
Or is Orthodox is because of there's not Beis Hamikdash.
We've fallen away. Kol Yisrael Arevim, everyone is one. Mm-hmm. So we're learning Sechtas Makkos, it's in Ezekiel. Learning about different ways in which someone, Layalenu, should get Makkos. And we said, the Mishnah, that one is not allowed to make a bald spot on their head in mourning a loved one. And we had a Gemara in Chafam and Aleph that had a Brais, a Tanur Abanon, said, Lo yikrchu, the Kohanim shall not make a bald spot on their head. So we said, you might think that if someone made 4 or 5 bald spots, he'd be chayiv to only 1 malchus. Therefore, the Torah says karcha, right? The pasuk exactly, it says, Lo yikrchu karcha b'rosham. The Kohanim shall not make any bald spot on their head. So the fact that it says karcha is l'chayav al kol karcha v'karcha, that every single bald spot would get him malchus. But then it says, but it doesn't just say lo yikrchu karcha, you should not make a bald spot. It says b'rosham, on their head. I think I would know it's on their head. Ma tamid loimer, what does it b'rosham come to teach? Lefi shenemer lo yisiskoidedu v'lo yisasimu karcha b'neinechem lameis. Since it said in Devarim about all Yidden that you shall not cut yourselves, nor shall you make a bald spot between your eyes for the dead, right? So again, so
Someone
it says
close
it's
if you died. Yeah.
right. It says not me, but someone. It says a bald spot. So yachal lo yehi chayiv ela al bein haneim bilvad. You might think that a person is chayiv for a bald spot only if it's between the eyes. Minayin l'rabes kol haraish. Where do you know that a yisrael is chayiv for a bald spot anywhere on the head? Talmud loymar b'roisham. The Torah says by Vayikra, by us, that the Kahanim shall not make a bald spot on their head. The rabbis kol haraish, to include the entire head. So we learn out Beroisham, the fact that Karcha is the Gzer Shav, I imagine. Beroisham comes to teach you that side by Kayin and by the Yisrael, you get Makkos for any bald spot on the head. Ve'enli, and this is where I got caught up yesterday. Ve'enli ela b'kayhanim. However, I have proof from this pasuk that a bald spot is usher anywhere on the head only with regards to kayhanim, which the pasuk is talking about. Shariba b'henakasav mitzvahs yiserius, for whom the pasuk adds extra commandments, right? Commandment not to touch tumah, not to marry grusha. So maybe beroisham is only applicable to that. Yisrael minayin. Where do we know that it is every Jew? Nemar kan, it says over here karcha. V'nemar lalon karcha. It says bald spot in each place. So it teaches you that not just are you chayiv for every bald spot, but you also chayiv the karcha is a gzer shava matching up the two cases. That what malahalon, just as over there chayiv al karcha v'karcha v'chayiv al reish k'vein anayim. Just as over there the kohen is chayiv for each and every bald spot, and he's chayiv for a bald spot anywhere on the head, just like he is between the eyes. Afkan, so to over here, chayiv al kol karcha v'karcha. He's chayiv on every bald spot. V'chayiv al haroish b'bein hanayim, and he's chayiv for the anything between the eyes. Malalon al meis, and just as there, in the ordinary isser of a bald spot is prohibited only when made over a dead person. Afkan al hames. So too, the bald spot is only usher when it's made over a dead person. So okay, now I understand that. But this bald spot only on a dead person, someone's allowed to make a bald spot when it's not over a dead person?
No, it's just the norm to do it for such an instance.
But it just says over here, the reason... It says it's usher only when it's made over a dead person. Because the pasuk says for the dead.
You can never pain yourself, put yourself in pain.
I'm not... It didn't say anything about pain, but you're saying, as we said yesterday, that it's referring to pain. But it says over here, literally, Umal alon al hames. It says it's usher only when made over a dead person. Because the pasuk says straight out.
In terms of the owners associated with it.
So you're saying it's usher, but you only get malchus when it's made over, when someone only gets malchus over a dead person. What to look into. Okay, so then yesterday, we got up to the Gemara that was talking about...
This is like, it's called like a minor, like a mini suicide almost. Person pains himself.
The Gemara, the Mishnah, had a second isser in the Mishnah that someone is not allowed to round...
Suicide? You don't get buried in a Jewish cemetery.
You commit suicide, you're not buried in a Jewish cemetery. 1 second, sure.
I heard from someone who said that Moshe Feinstein is a Jew. He said if you jump off of a building or a
Must be your chayla, right?
to commit suicide, then you might be able to... People could say shiv over you and you get buried in a Jewish cemetery.
You're insane.
No, because you might have had thoughts of tshuva on your way down before you died. I didn't see that inside. Just learning the Mishnah say if you're chaser deya, you're allowed to eat on the 9 days. Meat, you're allowed to. You don't need to fast on Tisha B'Av.
Not 100%.
Literally, you're lacking knowledge. I don't know exactly what it is. I looked at the Pri Mekodim. Mental health issues.
Mental health is very important. Rabbi say, take care of your mental health. Today's episode is sponsored by Oh Hell for all your mental health needs. Should we start doing fake sponsors every night? Tonight's episode is sponsored by Smash Burger. During the 9 days, if you're making a CM...
You eat their food?
Occasionally. I'm not a big fast food guy. Yeah, bam, 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 bam.
I'd rather make a burger on my grill.
Fresh, huh?
Oh yeah. Little Weber action. For pain.
You're not allowed to round the corner of your head.
Yep.
Very strange Lashon, huh?
What do you call it? The mushroom haircut? Like they put
I've
your
seen
head
the
in a strainer.
mushroom. Yeah. They do fades now. You heard about the fade?
If it's too
Too
short.
thin. Two.
Less than two.
Less than two. What's two? What the island doesn't know what two means. What does that mean?
Two, you have sizes that go from 1 up until I think 11.
And one is very thick. It cuts off a lot.
Everyone knows this for barber. You tell the guy. He said, "What number do you want?"
By the way, remember we were talking about
I get a 2 on the side, 3 on the top usually.
where? Just joking. That's a joke. Oh, see,
Over
Rabbi
there,
Isai,
thank you very much.
this is not intentional.
I'm
This
not bald.
this is
in the front.
in the front. Remember you were talking about
How to cut your nails?
yeah. So
So
then I said, what's pshat? What's pshat? Like also washing hands, this one, that one. And I was learning, I think in the Paliyah, it's about that there's mystical implications.
Yeah,
as
Api Kabbalah, what's the shot?
Yeah. But it could be doing it the correct way brings down certain positive mystical.
Right. I mean, the simple explanation is so we could get a mitzvah by even a small act that we do. The question is why specifically in that order?
No, it's more than that. Not just reward in the world to come. It brings down. It's mashpia.
It's a real kasha on cutting the nails because usually we always do the right first. Over here we do the left first, and then we're skipping. So it's a real kasha specifically on the nails.
What hand are we doing
You do the left
to
first.
cut the nails? You're using the right.
It doesn't matter.
The avoida, the maisa is
matter.
taking
How do you wash your hands?
place.
How do you wash your hands? Which hand do you wash first?
Because the water is going on the hand. Here you're removing. We use the right hand to remove. Azoizak the pri Eliyahu.
A Kohen who goes up to Duchin, which shoe does he remove first?
He removes his right shoe first.
Does he?
The left shoe.
Does he? We usually always remove the left. Some say.
He removes both.
Which one do you remove first?
What if he does both simultaneously?
Usually always remove left first. You don't do simultaneous. So some say he's doing a mitzvah, maybe he's not going to remove the right.
Yeah, the most important part of the carbon is the zrika, Rabbi say.
What?
No?
Says?
Didn't we say that?
Surika?
I think so.
Yeah. Guy was sitting next to the in the Kola, and he said they're finishing all of Kachim. So they did the whole Moed. He runs a night call, there's 15 people there, so they're finishing the whole Kachim. Gemara. Said for 15 years. Kachim. Okay.
V'hamakif pa'as roishai. Taner abanon. Pa'as roishai sleif roishai. The corner of his head means the extremity of his head.
Extremity?
The end of his head?
The end. So is the end.
The word peah means end or extremity,
Right.
as in lifas yam, at the west end. As
So
explained
peah, corner.
above, the extremities or corners of the head are the two temples. See there for why the shaving of the hair temples is called
Why don't
rounding.
they use
So where
a
are we,
word-
over here?
Why don't they use a word that no one even knows what it is?
Are we here?
Yeah, we're good. Yeah.
Be'ezu soif raishai.
He's
Ze hamashvet do'ov la'achoyri oznoi ulfadachtoi.
cutting off his whole
This
face.
is one who evens his temples with the hairline behind
Right
his
over
ear.
here. Cutting this whole thing. He's just forgetting about all this. Cutting all of this.
Oh wow.
Forget about all of it.
This is like the top of the payas, right?
Yeah.
So where does it come? Like you're not supposed to cut past the
That's a
bone.
big part, but nowadays the barbers, they do all their styles. They try to cut over here. They try to do that. Big problem. Can't touch anything.
But hold on. So why can't you go past the bone? And this is talking about someone who's doing it when they're done. This is in general, right? This is Yisrael.
Yeah.
This is not just in a case of Misa, right?
No. No.
But so why do we go past the bone now? If we're
Who goes
talking about
past the bone?
saying you have
There's
to
a
have
whole
the
discussion
payas.
over here on the side. Some are the shita of what was it before? There's gonna be the machlikas over there, based on what Rashi says in Shvuas. Be another place also. Yeah, it could be. Some say even till here, if I'm not mistaken. I have to look at that picture and bring it into the gymnasium.
It's what? It's like a derisa? Like that's considered the corner of the head?
Try the exact details. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not like this exactly.
Wait until I tell you what's about to happen in this Gemara. Hang on tight. The Gemara continues its discussion of the Isser against cutting the payas. That's why they're called payas, because it's the corners. I'm sorry, Rabbi, so you could see I'm such an Amma Oretz. Now, if they call me a balabas, I know why I'm an Amma Oretz, because they say, when a Rosh Hashiva says, the balabas, they just mean Amma Oretz. That's why I'm kidding. But
someone who learns Gemara isn't an Amaretz.
yeah, but they classify a balabas as being, you know how it is in Mishnah.
Anything about us?
I saw a video from Rabbi Stefanski. There was a kid there.
I'm a balabas.
Nah, yeah, Kavir.
There
was a video of Rabbi Stefanski where there was a kid learning there. Let's say 12 years old. He finished 700 blot already with daf, and his friends make fun of him. They call him a truck driver.
Right.
That he does daf yomi. He's just a truck driver that does daf yomi, and the kids the kids make fun of him, and Rabbi Stefanski said, first of all, they shouldn't be making fun of you. Second of all, that's a great accomplishment.
Yeah.
He says, does it help your Ian? Like, he's like, yeah, tremendously. I'm able to.
Oh, so then it's something to talk about.
I guess you're on.
Finished Shas when he was 4.
Yeah. But you make it seem like the Bikias is nothing.
Who says Bikias is nothing?
You just did. You said, oh, only if it helps the Ian.
Yeah, that's right. Because the guy the rest
I'm not
of his
doing
life,
Ian. I'm not doing Ian.
The guy who's already older. Once a guy's older.
So you're siding with the kids. You're calling him a truck driver.
You have to hear it out. You want to have a conversation about it? We'll have a conversation.
Here he goes.
You want to move on, or you do hit and run, and then see you later. You say your thing, hit and run, and then we'll go right in the Gemara.
He has what to say.
Look, having a tremendous amount of knowledge of Shas, which is over 2,000 daf, is very important, right? But we're talking about the Beis Hamikdash before. What's the closest way? What's the way that we can get closest to Hashem?
Depth.
When a person learns, right now we're learning the Gemara, okay? So we're gonna move through. We're gonna get the Chafal from the base, and we're gonna start learning about tattoos.
Tattoos?
Tattoos is gonna come up briefly in this Masechta. Okay? So if we're not gonna crack open a Yordeya and spend 2 months on the topic learning about that, what are you gonna come out with at the end of the day? We're gonna have expertise on the subject.
So learning is
Tattoos,
only if it's
listen.
halacha l'maisa?
Hold on. This is an example of a halacha l'maisa which happens to be coming up in a Masechta which isn't really a l'maisa Masechta for the most part. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fine. So the point is, when a person reads this, right? Okay, very nice. When a person learns through it, learns the Rishonim, the Achronim, has to think deep. That's how his mind gets moving. That's really making his mind think. When he thinks, and when he's amel b'Torah and he steigs to understand it, that's the way that he can get closest to Hashem. So for a guy going back to the 7-year-old or however old he was, 12-year-old, whatever, right? So when he's doing that, the question is, what's he going to be doing in 20 years? If he's not going to be learning how to learn properly when he's younger, chances are he's not going to get that opportunity.
Can't mutually exclusive. It could be he's doing both.
Okay. When it was posed to me, it was under the implication that he's forsaking learning in depth and he's hyper-focusing on covering a lot of ground. To which, if that would be the case, then there's definitely red flags on. If he's doing both, great. The question is, how much time does he need to allocate to learn that 700 daf? If he's doing it bein hastarim, when people are being mevatel Torah anyways, I mean, how much extra time do you have a day in yeshivas nowadays? And people are wasting time. I'm not talking about you're playing with friends outside, you're running around, that's great. I'm talking about just wasting time doing stuff that isn't important, alright? So if he's doing it during that time, which there's a tremendous amount of waste. If he's doing it Erev Shabbos, all the yeshivas are shut down after, the early morning. On Erev Shabbos, now you get 7 hours till Shabbos, 8 hours till Shabbos. What does a bacher need to do? The poskim, they say, you know what the hachanas of Shabbos are for a bacher? Take a guess. What do they have to do?
After
Everything's prepped for them. In yeshiva, it's all cooked. They're hachanas are learning
Shower.
Torah properly.
Learning Torah is hachana?
Taking a shower, what do you think? They're putting on makeup?
No makeup.
It takes them 10 minutes to put on a shower suit, 20 minutes if you're slow. So if to utilize those times, Shabbos afternoon, whatever. So it depends exactly when is he doing that, and is it taking away from his other learning? That's what a person has to finish with. That's what it comes down to. It's a lot more than Gemara. The Gemara is the start. And when we say learning in depth, we're not just talking about halacha l'maaseh, by the way, just to reiterate and solidify that idea. We're talking about any sugya that a person learns. To learn through Havnei Maluim, to learn through a Ksais. People don't realize, they think Ksais, love the Sefer. Ksais is on the page of Shulchan Aruch and Choshen Mishpat. Person who learns Choshen Mishpat properly, I know every Ksais.
That's what it is. It's a separate sefer, though.
It's officially a separate sefer. It's on the page of the Shulchan Aruch. You open up Choshen Mishpat. Shiva guys don't realize that because they never open up Shulchan Aruch. That's when a person has both, and he's really steiging in all your... Today someone came over to me. He said, could you help me find the Zohar? I saw a guy I noticed pulling off the Zohar from the show. I'm thinking, who is this guy? He said someone else was helping him find it. He couldn't find it. He comes over to me. He said, cut the chase. What are you looking for? The Zohar in Pinchas. So he tells me the daf. Not here. Look at the thing. Where you getting quote? Oh, Mishnah Bruin Simon Ayin Hay by a woman covering her hair. Oh yeah, you made a mistake. Parshas Nasa. I'll help you find the Zohar. He said, forget about finding the Zohar. I just want another taich. No problem. I taiched it in Aramaic for him over there. That's what it is. When a person knows all areas, they're able to understand. Oh, okay, yeah, Zohar. You're not looking. You gotta know all areas of Torah.
When you pinpointed the Mishnah Berurah for him, he said, I don't know. Hey,
What's that?
That's the pronunciation. Oh.
By the way, that cross references the Gemara in Yuma Mem Zayin with Kimchis. It's also why Chazar is important.
Kamsa by Kamsa.
The guy's just learning 700 daf, and he's not doing Chazar. What's it worth? How much?
That's why Zichron. You know about this. What do you think about Zichron?
Yeah, I don't know the exact details of the program. Any program that pushes Chazara, endorses, what's the word? Promotes.
My son Nehemiah is doing
excellent.
Tamid. They do it over and over and over. Chazar.
The question is, if people are doing that program, are they just doing
I'm proud of you, Nehemiah, and Chanel, and all my Kindle.
Is it being learned as a subject? Are they enjoying it when they do it? Because you gotta enjoy it. That's also another question that you do.
In a Havarabah, you're supposed to have kavana to make it sweet.
The Pirchtay, the Harevna.
Yeah.
What other bracha do we say? Parsha recordings of Abban.com, Parshas V'Eschanan. What other brachas do we say that we say in the middle of the bracha, make it sweet for us, make it yishmak?
Honey on Rosh Hashanah.
Yeah.
Sweet New Year, Rabbi Sai. We're coming up on Elul. Ani l'doidi v'doidi li. Sweet like honey. Amelis b'Torah. Toil. Anu ratzim v'hein ratzim. They run to the MetLife Stadium for the World Cup, and we run for the Siyam HaShas.
Anu ratzim v'hein ratzim. The simple explanation is we run to the base medrash. Anu ratzim l'divrei Torah v'hein ratzim l'dvarim batel. They go to...
Yeah, they went to MetLife for the World Cup, and we go for the Siyam HaShas.
Anu amelim v'heim amelim. Anu amelim l'kabim sachar v'heim amelim. What does that mean?
Lishma, when you work,
Yeah.
and
You
you
ever
do
work?
it,
You get paid. What do you mean?
that's not real.
So what does it mean l'kabim sachar then? They say that Chafetz Chaim says a person could do all this status with the business deal and everything, it falls through it, then you get nothing. Person learns, he works hard to understand something, tries to, but he just couldn't get it. He gets orders.
Yeah, but you didn't follow through.
Doesn't matter. He tried his best.
You're saying the mission is the reward. The journey is the reward. The toiling is what gets the reward, not the result.
Someone told me when he finished Psachim in Yeshiva, that I learned it properly, 120 blot.
120 blot in
What's your
Pesachim.
feeling after you finish the Masechet?
Relief.
I wanted there to be more. He's upset that it ended.
That's big. That's big, Rabbi Sai. Yearning. Not earning, he's yearning. Tane Tana Kameder of Chizda, a teacher of Brises, shared the following Brisa before of Chizda.
Teaching of who? What?
A teacher of Brises, it says. Tani Tana.
We call them an Amoira.
All it says, literally, is a teacher of Brises.
Yeah.
See above 15b.
You know why it can't be a Tana? Because he's saying it in front of Rav Chizda. Rav Chizda is an Amoira. So it has to be an Amoira.
The term Tana usually refers to the sage of Mishnaic period whose views are recorded in the Mishnah Brisa. In the present context, however, it refers to a scholar of the Amoraic period who was assigned to memorize the exact wording of the various Tanaic texts and recite them verbatim to the assembled students.
That's right.
So Rav Chizda is listening. Yeah. He hears. Echad ha'makif ve'echad ha'nikaf lo hikeh. Both the one who rounds the corner of a man's head and the subject of the rounding receive Makkos. Attention barbers! Attention barbers!
Very good pamphlet at home. You know the Hacket series, the Halacha one?
No.
It's very good Halacha Lamaisa. It talks about cutting hair and all the details. Very good read. Okay.
Amar Leir Chizah said to the Amaycha, Man da'achol tamri ba'arbila loke. Does one who eats dates out of a sieve receive Makkos? Does one who perform an innocent act such as eating dates?
What's the problem with eating dates out of a sieve? He's talking about that his friend collected it on Yom Tov, on Yom Tov from a tree. So now he's benefiting from a prohibition that his friend did, so he's going to get lashed.
I think it's just an innocent act. I don't see anything about Yom Tov here.
That's the case over here, right? Or else it would be the problem of eating dates from your friend collected.
I think it's just saying that it's an innocent act.
From Yom Tov.
Oh.
Right? If you look at Rashi doesn't specify that, but that's the case. Rashi says, "Da'achel tamari ba'arbila ha'ichel tamarim v'kivra yeloike bitmi akoimer nikaf ma pasha shuloike." The guy who got his hair cut, what did he do wrong?
Yeah, he's just an innocent bystander.
Oh, it goes back to Lav Shem Momaisa.
Yeah, but he should have spoken up.
So that's the case with the Beis Gan Yontif. I mean, that's the only way it makes sense properly. Yeah.
The Chizda argues that this Brisa contradicts the halachically accepted view that Makkos is not incurred for an Isser, Lav Shem Momaisa.
So there's been lawsuits about this, that certain barbers cut off more than they were supposed to. It's tremendous embarrassment.
Chizda says you don't get Makkos at this point you don't get Makkos, but it's still usher to have your head cut like that. What do you say?
There's been lawsuits about this.
People who got their hair cut?
Yeah, they cut off too much. They tell them not to, and then they cut off too much.
You're talking about like Jewish lawsuits?
Secular law.
The guy needs his hair for the concert, and you cut off his hair.
They do it on purpose. It's funny. It's not a joke.
Cut his hair off?
They cut the payas off.
You're talking about Goyim now.
Yeah.
So what are you saying? It's not a joke. Goyim are allowed to do that.
No.
I'm saying it's not halakhically not allowed for a guy to cut their hair off. Oh, you mean a guy that the barber? Oh, I thought you were talking about like a guy who.
No.
Oh yeah, that's not good.
Big problem. A lot of these barbers aren't religious.
So where do you go? How do you know? I know you don't go, but like, if you were going to go to a barber, how would you ensure that they are?
You tell them exact instructions.
Okay, exact instructions doesn't always work. I've told exact instructions, and they've not listened.
Exactly.
So how do you know who to go to? And then if you do go to them, how do you ensure? They have. I would only go with the mashkiach.
They have religious ones. See, now you do. Right?
No, I'm saying that's what I think.
Religious barbers.
I think that there are. If people took this seriously, the same way they have a restaurant, a mashkiach, all the more so you should have one at a barber. You call up 1-800-mashkiach, serious, and guy says, "Oh, when are you going? I'm going with 3 kids, to the barber. I want you to come with me."
You just go. You just have a religious barber.
So it doesn't always work like that. I think you need a shomer. Honestly.
Nah.
I think a shomer.
You just messed it up.
Nope, I'm serious. I've said this in the past, where I've thought this. if this is something you take seriously, you cannot put it into somebody else's hands, no matter what direction you told them, no matter how from. They're distracted. They're distracted. They're talking. They're laughing. They're rushing.
If a guy is known to cut off and mess people up, he's gonna have a bad rep, and then from you're not gonna go there.
Bad rep.
So from the fact
no one keeps track of this stuff. I think you're giving people too much credit. No one keeps track of this stuff. And if they do, it's not well known. If we take this seriously, then we take food so seriously. Mashgiach, hechsher, this and that. We're talking about a deraisa. And yet, you're leaving it up. Oh, okay, don't do this. Okay. And the guy's like, hey, he's trying to rush. He's trying to get as many haircuts as possible. Yeah, when are the 9 days over? Thursday? Are you allowed to get a haircut on Friday? Yeah? Go in.
Tisha B'Av is over.
Yeah.
Tisha B'Av is over Wednesday
Thursday
night.
Wednesday night? Isn't it Wednesday night, Thursday?
Tuesday. It starts Wednesday night. Yeah, it's going to be over.
When can you get a haircut?
So, yeah, Erev Shabbos.
Okay. Yeah. Watch what happens in barbershops. Every head is money.
Oh, it's going to
and
be
they're going to rush. They're going to rush. Tell me that
mad
you're going to sit there comfortably after you gave instructions. They're like, yeah. Not to have a shomer there, but make sure that to remind them. Okay, fine. You get your hair cut.
If that's all you do all day, you give haircuts, you could do a pretty quick job of it. You know exactly what to do. You just have to be careful by those spots. Not take it off.
Easier said than cut. Damalach, Rabbi Chizda instructed the teacher, if someone says to you, Mani, whose opinion is reflected in this brisa? That the person who is receiving the haircut gets Makkos as well. Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Chizda says to the Amira, tell them it is Rabbi Yehuda, and it's minority opinion. Damar Lav Shem Be'Maisa Leikin Lav, who said on Dalet Amud Beis and Tes Vav Tes Zayin Amud Aleph that even a lav that has no Maisa, you get Makkos. So Gemara says, no, it can even accord with the majority opinion that lav shein by Maisa ain Makkos. Rava Amar ben Makif la'asmai. The Raisa speaks of one who rounds the corner of his own head. The divrei kol, and it's an opinion of all. So that's why he gets Makkos, because he did the Maisa. Rav Ashi Amar ben Masayeh. The Raisa speaks of one who actively assists in the rounding by presenting the temple hairs to the cutter with divrei kol, and so it's a ruling that reflects everybody. So we don't have to say. So either way, you can have the person who's getting the haircut do a maisa. Either he cuts it or he's instructing. It's not just instructing Rabbi Say, because that's just amira. That's dibar. He's actually like holding the hairs and saying, "Hey, cut this." You know how the barber will hold the hair out and like go like this and then cut. Here, that's what's going on. The third isser listed in the Mishnah in which someone gets Makkos, it says one who destroys the corner of his beard, with a razor. The corner, is this with a razor or just stam? Because before it wasn't with a razor, it was someone who rounds it. I guess mashkas references razor.
Destroyed.
The rabbis taught in a brayse, the corner of his beard means the end of his beard. Which is the end of his beard, the pointed end of his beard. I would think without looking anywhere, it's talking about this.
Yeah.
And all 5 corners mentioned in the Mishnah are included in the term, the end of his beard, says the Rivan. Since the facial hair, or perhaps some flesh, protrude there. So wherever he destroys the 5 points, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The Masoret Srita Achas, the 4th and final isser in the Mishnah, which someone gets Makkos.
By the way, you can learn the leniency from this. Technically, you could use a razor over here. I wouldn't put it with fire though.
I wouldn't touch that yet.
Technically.
Someone who makes a single cut gets Makkos. Torah Rabban, the Seret. The Torah states, and a cut. The Sarat lenefesh leisitnu bivasrachem. And a cut for a departed soul you shall not put in your flesh. Torah Rabbanan, the Seret. Yachal afilu sarat al beisei shenafa. You may think that a person is getting the Aveira if he made a cut in his flesh of a house that collapsed.
He didn't have insurance.
Or he's not sure if he does.
If he knew he had good insurance, he'd be happy. That's what some people purposely try to do.
Or over a ship that sank in the sea.
Yeah.
Talmud Leimer lenefesh. The Torah therefore says, for a soul. It teaches you, Ein chayav ela al meis bavad. One is chayav only if he cut himself over a dead person. Does that mean someone can just cut himself? Oh, there's a machlokes among the poskim.
He cut himself. No, we're talking
this
about
is only for a
Yeah.
deraisa. So machlokes among
you
the
never hurt yourself.
over whether the Rabbanan prohibited self-laceration over losses other than death. Some rule they did, others disagree, reasoning that the Rabbanan did not want to hold the person responsible for what he does in his times of grief. Either way, you shouldn't do this. Wait, according to the Beis Yosef over there,
Over Kofei Al? Good day?
yeah, 180.
Kofei, yeah.
It says that the Beis Yosef and the Ramah there reason that the Rabbanan didn't want to hold a person responsible for what he does in times of grief other than death. So what? It's not usher? According to the Rabbanan here?
No, meaning a person shouldn't be doing it, but it's like a person was sick. So because they were sick, they couldn't put on tefillin because he had stomach issues.
Okay.
Or something. So like, it's not your fault. Like you got sick. Meaning you should have, person should have been more careful to sleep properly, eat properly, etc. It happened still. The same thing over here. What are you gonna do? It's a rough state.
From where do we know about someone who made 5 cuts in his flesh over one dead person? Then he gets a separate Makkos penalty for each and every cut, even though it's one person. Talmud Leimer v'seret. The Torah said, and a cut. L'chayev al kol srita v'srita. Where do you know that someone who cuts once for 5 dead people, that for each and every dead person that he did that one cut for, very big chumrah, Hamid Loimer lo nefesh. The Torah says for a departed soul, l'chayev al kol nefesh v'nefesh. So even though you did a single cut, the Torah is teaching you that the person is not you, but the person who is making that one cut for 5 dead people. If he did 1,000,000 for 1,000,000 people, he would be chayev 1,000,000 malchus. Now he doesn't get malchus 1,000,000 times, but essentially he would be chayev that malchus. Maybe he has to answer to someone somewhere about it. So frak the Gemara of a pisk say levese shenafal of sfinase shetav bayam, but the Tanakama of the Brisa already used lanefesh to teach you that you're only chayev for a cut for a dead person, not for a house collapse or a ship that sank in the sea. So how can you then free up lanefesh to teach you that it's for every soul? How can Rabbi Yossi do that? And for the Gemara, Ksav Rabbi Yossi Srita Gdida Achasi. Rabbi Yossi holds that the forbidden act of inflicting a Srita cut and the forbidden act of inflicting a Gdida cut, there's a second pasuk in the Torah that Aser is cutting oneself over the dead. You shall not cut yourselves and you shall not make a bald spot between your eyes of the dead person. They're one and the same Isser. So even though different words are used, both psukim refer to the same Isser against cutting oneself in grief, either by hand or with an instrument. And it's written there, you shall not cut yourselves for a dead person. So we have the phrase for a dead person in Dvarim to teach that the liability is incurred only if the cut is made over the deceased. So therefore, lanefesh in the Vayikra is free for Rabbi Yossi to obligate for each and every departed soul over whom one made the cut. So we're going to still learn, according to Rabbi Yossi, that Lanefesh is teaching you what the Tanakama had, but no, I'm sorry. Rabbi Yossi is teaching you that Lanefesh is teaching you that he made the cut. If he makes the cut for each and every nefesh, even if it's one cut, he's going to be chayev. But when it comes to what the Tanakama learned out, that you're only chayev for the cut on someone who died, that he learns out from the act of inflicting a srita cut from an act. What's the difference between a srita and a gedida?
That's the point of the same prohibition.
So the fact that it says it there twice, that's where he learns.
Specifically for a deceased.
Oh, for a dead person.
Because of pain, because of the house of the ship. Now we have the pasuk of a nefesh to include that you're going to be liable.
So why does it say it twice? Is that to teach you what Rabbi Yossi is saying?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's precisely what the Gemara is coming to answer.
Okay. Amar Shmuel, Hamasorit Bichli Chayev. One who inflicts a srita cut on himself with an instrument is liable for two isurim.
Srita and gedida.
There's no difference?
You're going to be responsible for both.
Is there a difference between the cut?
It's a, no,
is one with the hand?
Cut. It's a boga.
Is one with a hand and one with an instrument?
Yeah, usually gedida is with the kli and srita is with the hand. We'll say it's Kiddush over here.
Oh, so he's doing a srita cut with an instrument. Normally a srita cut is with
that's according to the Rivan.
Gedida connotes chiefly cutting with an instrument, while srita chiefly connotes cutting with one's hand. So someone who inflicts a srita cut with an instrument, Shmuel is teaching that the term srita can also apply to an instrument. Accordingly, one who cuts himself with an instrument violates two isurim, one against inflicting a srita cut and another against inflicting a gedida cut. Similarly, it says if one cuts himself by hand, he violates two isurim, for srita and gedida are the same forbidden acts, since both are performed either with a hand or instrument. So it's really two for the price of one. Don't do that. Meisvei, certainly don't do that. Srita gedida achasi, elas srita biyad gedida b'kechli. The isurim against the srita cut and the gedida cut are one and the same, in that both involve cutting one's flesh over a dead person. Elas srita biyad gedida b'chli, except that a srita cut is inflicted by hand and a gedida cut is with an instrument. So you really can only do one at a time. So why did Shmuel say? You see Shmuel that says you can do one either or, and over here it says it's not one or the other,
too, right?
And that you can do a srita with an instrument. How's that possible? According, if srita can only be by hand and gedida is only with an instrument, that's against Shmuel. Who the Amar Rabbi Yossi? He holds like Rabbi Yossi, Shmuel does, who said that srita, even with an instrument or gedida by hand, goes according to Rabbi Yossi, who disagrees with the Tan of the Brisa, and he holds that the two isurim are completely identical, which is what we said above. Tari Kameh Rabbi Yochanan. A teacher of Brai Amira said before Rabbi Yochanan. In the texts of the Rif and the Rush, Rav Nachman appears. Al Mace, if a person cuts himself over a dead person, Bein biyad, bein b'chli, chayev, whether he used a hand or an instrument, he is chayev. Al avodas kachavim, but if he cuts himself in some sort of act of avodah zara, biyad chayev, if he did it by hand, he's chayev for the avera of idol worship, b'chli pater. If he cuts himself with an instrument, he is pater from punishment, since cutting oneself with an instrument is not a form of avodah zara. I guess he doesn't get Makkos, right? Still shouldn't do that.
Yeah. This is talking about, never, this is talking about a form of worship. So when it says chayiv over here, you can be liable to die. Chayiv misa. It's considered a full-fledged form of idolatry when you do it with your hand. That's
Makkos,
what the Ravan says.
It says Makkos, not Misa, no?
No.
You get Makkos if you bow, shecht, or burn, or pour. Oh, but you do any other act during the time of Avodah Zarah, you'll also get killed, but otherwise you get Makkos. But if someone serves an idol in a way that can't be classified as Avodah Zarah, he is exempt pater from einish. Thus, in this present case, if the idol is customarily worshipped by cutting oneself by hand, the worshipper is liable to death penalty. If it's not normally worshipped in that way, he is liable only to Makkos.
The Hedges Hamachim Beis will say that you would only get lashed. It could depend on the case. It could be a machlek.
Wait, why does it say over here, according to the Rivan, that if it's not normally worshipped in that way?
Look at Taisvis over here. This small one right over there, up there. You see it?
1 second.
Avois B'chavim.
Hold on 1 second.
B'yar Chayiv. Yeah, Chayiv Misa. Came up.
What?
Here, Shakunshus Chayiv Misa.
If it's the Kiracha.
Yeah, Gedarka.
The Laki Shaloi Kedarcha. Mois Avdim Yisera Bechli Pater. Dana Bechal Avoida in Chayiv Arabiyah. So if he cuts himself.
Yeah.
If you do it by hand when it's not normally like that, you'll get Makkos. But if you do it in something that's never, if you're doing an act like an instrument, then you're not doing anything. But so you're not going to get punished. But you shouldn't do that. Don't cut yourself. Yeah. But the opposite is written. Okay, by Baal, whom Eliyahu confronted on Mount Carmel, the pasuk states.
Karma, yeah.
And they cut themselves with swords and spears according to their custom. So over here you see that Avodah Zarah is. So why should someone pater? Ela'ema, the Brisa should say biyad pater, right? If one cuts himself by hand, he is pater. Bechli chayav. It flips it around. So actually, cutting with the spear makes you chayav. But if it's known, according to the Ritva, that one particular idol is worshipped by cutting one with one's hand, he is chayav to do it. Don't play with fire. Chayav al Rosh. He's chayav for rounding the corners of the head. He gets 2 sets of malchus. Machvei Rav Sheshes being pirkei reisha. Rav Sheshes pointed between the joints of his head to show where the corners are. So each corner has 2 malchus because there's 2 sides. They right? Double trouble. Two parts to the corner. And for destroying the 5 corners of the beard, person is chayiv to a total of 5 malchus, 2 for destroying from here and 2 for destroying from here, and 1 from destroying below. Machvei Rav Sheshes being pirkei dikna. Rav Sheshes pointed between the joints of the beard to show which parts are considered the corners. The exact locations, says Art Scroll, of the 5 corners of the beard are not evident from the Gemara. Rivan's opinion. Some say it's over here and here. Some say it's here.
I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe it was Hashem sending us a simon when it gets the copyright law.
Be careful. To cut it. We have to be sky to do.
Custom schmooze. I asked before, can I record this?
Yeah.
Let me tell you a story. What happened? Someone one time stopped recording. He tried to record this. And afterwards, he went to the recorder. It was empty. There was nothing there. It's just a from Shemayim. It shouldn't have been done.
It's funny. Eliezer Amir Im Nitlan. If he removed all five corners, he's chayiv to only 1 malchus penalty, according to Rabbi Eliezer. Savar chad lavu. Rabbi Eliezer holds it is but a single isser that forbids the shaving of the beard 5 corners. So even if one
You
shaves
did
5
before the
separate,
Ramsheshes, right?
yeah,
Okay.
even if someone shaves 5 separate corners, he's only going to get Makkos.
You sure you did the Ramsheshes? Okay.
No, I'm not sure about
I
anything.
think you skipped that one. That was Zokin's time.
Yeah, I did that.
Okay, fine, right.
Because we said we're not sure where the 5 corners of the beard are evident. Ve'ein chayiv ad sheyidlu b'sar, and he's not chayiv unless he removes the beard with a razor. The Gemara explains that Tanakama's opinion is based on Xeris Shava. Let's see. In the section dealing with the laws of Kaihanim, the Torah says, "Ufa'as zikanim lo yigalechu." They shall not shave the corner of their beard. Earlier in the passage that applies to all Yid, then the Torah states, "V'lo yistashchas es pe'es zikonecha," and you shall not destroy the corner of your beard. The common word "pa'as" creates Xeris Shava, by which the law of one Isser transferred to the other. So it says by Kaihanim, then it says it by all Yidden. Tanrabanim pa'as kanim lo yigalechu. By Kaihanim it says they shall not shave the corner of their beard. From here you would think that even if you shave it with a scissors, you're going to be chayiv to Makkos. The Torah says you shall not destroy, when it comes to all Yidden, the corner of your beard. The word destroy implies that the Isser is only with a razor, right? The scissors, not.
The roots of the hair.
The roots. And conversely, if the Torah had stated only you shall not destroy the corner of your beard, one might think that even if you remove the corner with planes, which cut the hair down to the skin, he would be chayev, because it's a certain form of destroyment. The Torah says you should not shave.
Until the roots, it doesn't destroy the roots. That's why that wouldn't.
The word shave implies removing the beard with an instrument commonly used for that activity, which precludes planes. Not necessarily. I don't see it based on the roots. I see it. Halkates, how can this be? How are these two psukim reconciled when one asks to shaving the beard and the other prohibits destroying it? Why? Why is that steer?
Because the question is, which one is it? You're cutting the whole thing out. One hand is an issue, another hand is not an issue. Right?
Oh, meaning if you're not allowed to destroy, you shouldn't be able to destroy with anything. The Gzeir Shava teaches that two psukim comment each other that what is prohibited shaving involves destruction.
Yeah.
A normal act of shaving that moves the hair down to the skin. One must say then that this is shaving with a razor.
The scissors isn't going to hit the roots.
Okay, we'll stop here and we'll continue.
Wait, what about to get to the Mishnah?
I'm not ready for the Mishnah. I want to do this again tomorrow.